Imagine waking up tomorrow to complete silence. No hum of appliances, no glow of streetlights, no buzz from your phone. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the brutal day-by-day reality of what happens when the power grid fails for an entire month and why most people won't make it past week 2. You'll discover the critical mistakes that turn neighbors into threats, the 3-week psychological breaking point that destroys communities, and the harsh survival lessons that separate those who make it from those who don't. This isn't about zombie apocalypse fiction. This is about the real collapse that happens faster than you think when modern life suddenly stops. Welcome to the Smart Pantry, where we prepare you for the realities others won't talk about. If this breakdown of grid-down survival opens your eyes to something you hadn't considered, smash that like button and subscribe for more hard-hitting preparedness content that could save your life. The power goes out at 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. No storm, no warning, just silence. Your phone is dead, your neighbor's house is dark, the streetlights are out as far as you can see. This isn't a neighborhood outage, this is something bigger, and it's not coming back anytime soon. Most people will spend the first few hours in denial, waiting for the power company to fix things. But you have maybe 6 hours before the water pressure drops and the taps run dry. This is your window, and what you do right now determines whether you're comfortable or desperate for the next 30 days. Fill every container you can find. Pots, bowls, buckets, bathtubs, everything. Turn on every faucet in your house and collect every drop. While your neighbors are still sleeping or checking their phones, you're gathering the resource that will keep you alive. Water storage isn't glamorous, but it's the difference between life and death when the municipal systems fail. Next, hit your freezer. Pack it tight with bottles of water and any frozen vegetables you have. The tighter it's packed, the longer it stays cold. What you freeze now might be the last fresh food you taste for weeks. This isn't about convenience anymore. It's about extending your timeline. Then comes the hard part, inventory and rationing. Count everything, every can, every bag of rice, every packet of oatmeal. Look at your supplies and divide by 30 days, then cut that number in half. Because here's what most people don't understand. Help isn't coming in 3 days. The cavalry isn't riding over the hill. You're on your own, and your supplies need to last. By day 3, the veneer of civilization starts cracking. The stores that haven't been looted are closed. Gas stations are shut down. The hospital emergency room is overflowing with people who can't get their medications, elderly folks struggling with medical devices that don't work, and families with sick children who can't call 911. This is when your neighbors stop being friendly faces and start becoming potential threats. Desperation changes people faster than you'd believe. The family next door who borrowed sugar last week might be eyeing your house, wondering if you have supplies they need. Your survival now depends on one crucial skill: invisibility. No lights after dark, no cooking smells wafting from your windows, no generators humming in your backyard. Every sign that you're prepared, every hint that you have more than others, makes you a target. Draw your curtains, keep your voice down, and for the love of everything, don't be the hero who shares supplies with everyone who asks. Generosity will get you killed when resources are finite. Your water purification system becomes critical now. Municipal treatment plants are failing without power. Even if water is still trickling from your taps, it might not be safe. Boil everything. Use chlorine drops if you have them. Build makeshift filters with sand, charcoal, and cloth if you must. Contaminated water will kill you faster than hunger, and there's no emergency room to save you when you get sick. Park your car and save every drop of gas. Walking becomes your primary transportation. Every gallon you waste now could be the difference between escape and being trapped later. Fuel is finite, and there's no gas station to refill when you run out. By the end of the first week, something psychological happens. The novelty wears off. This isn't an adventure anymore. It's your new reality. Hunger becomes a constant companion. If you're rationing properly, you're eating once a day, maybe twice if you're lucky. Your stomach growls, your energy drops, and every movement becomes calculated. Do you really need to go upstairs? Is rearranging that closet worth the calories you'll burn? The darkness becomes oppressive. Without artificial light, your world shrinks to the small circle around your candle or flashlight. Conversation dries up because everyone's focused on conservation, energy, food, water, everything. Tempers flare over small things because stress and hunger make everyone irritable. This is when you realize that physical survival and mental survival are two different battles, and you need to win both. By day 10, most people have already given up hope that this is temporary. The reality sets in. The grid isn't coming back anytime soon, and this is life now.
The constant hunger isn't just uncomfortable, it's mentally exhausting. Your brain runs on glucose, and when you're not getting enough calories, thinking becomes harder, decision-making becomes more difficult, and your judgment gets clouded. This is also when the security situation deteriorates rapidly. Break-ins start happening as people get desperate. The family down the street who seemed so normal 2 weeks ago might be the ones testing your door handles at night. Desperation doesn't discriminate. Teachers, accountants, soccer moms, anyone can become dangerous when their children are starving. Your invisibility protocol becomes even more critical. No lights, no sounds, no smells. If you must cook, do it in the middle of the day when cooking smells won't carry as far in the cool air. Never let anyone see how much food you have. If someone comes asking for help, you commiserate with them about how tough things are, how you're barely making it too. You never ever reveal the extent of your preparations. The psychological pressure is immense. Every decision carries weight. Do you help the elderly couple next door who's struggling? What about the family with young children who are clearly not prepared? Your natural human compassion battles against your survival instincts, and there's no right answer. Help too many people and you won't have enough for your own family. Help no one and you might create enemies who know where you live. Around day 14, something shifts. This isn't a temporary emergency anymore. This is life. The power grid isn't coming back tomorrow or next week. Government assistance isn't arriving. You're not going back to your job or your normal routine. This is your new normal, and accepting that reality is crucial for long-term survival. By day 15, a new enemy emerges: thirst. Your stored water is running low, and you're facing the harsh reality that finding clean water is now a daily challenge. Municipal water systems are completely failed. Even wells might not work if they rely on electric pumps. The bottled water is long gone, rationed drop by precious drop. This is when you start getting creative. Solar stills made from plastic sheeting and containers can extract moisture from the ground. Rainwater collection becomes critical. Every pot, every tarp, every container positioned to catch whatever falls from the sky. You're building makeshift filtration systems with layers of sand, charcoal, and cloth, hoping to make questionable water sources safe enough to drink. The sanitation situation becomes dire. Trash is piling up everywhere because garbage collection stopped weeks ago. Flies and rats are multiplying, bringing disease. Without running water, basic hygiene becomes nearly impossible. You're digging latrines away from your living area and water collection points because disease from poor sanitation can kill you faster than starvation. Days 19 through 21 mark what survival experts call the 3-week wall. This is when most people hit their breaking point. Physically, mentally, emotionally, everything crashes at once. Supplies are gone, neighborhood cooperation has evaporated, and the hope of a quick resolution has died completely. This is when communities fracture. Some people form cooperative groups to share resources and provide mutual protection. Others form militias to take resources by force. Many just give up entirely, sitting in their dark houses, waiting for death or rescue, whichever comes first. The friendly suburban neighborhood you once knew is gone forever, replaced by a patchwork of desperate alliances and hostile territories. Your invisibility becomes even more crucial now. Rumors spread quickly about who might have supplies. If someone thinks you're better off than you appear, you become a target. Trade becomes necessary but dangerous. You need things you don't have, but revealing what you do have could get you killed. Every interaction is calculated. Every conversation is carefully managed to downplay your situation while gathering intelligence about threats and opportunities. The mental shift is profound. You stop thinking about when things will return to normal because normal is gone. You start thinking in terms of daily survival, of making it through one more day. The person you were before the grid went down, with your job, your hobbies, your comfortable routines, that person feels like a stranger. Survival has stripped you down to your most basic self. Week 4 is when total collapse becomes undeniable. The organized looting begins as desperate groups target warehouses, pharmacies, and any homes that might still have supplies. Law enforcement has either fled, joined the chaos, or barricaded themselves with their own families. Emergency services are non-existent. Hospitals are dark, silent monuments to a medical system that depended entirely on electricity. Fatigue and malnutrition are taking their toll on everyone who's still alive. Simple injuries that would have been minor before become life-threatening. A cut that gets infected, a sprained ankle that limits mobility, even a bad cold can be a death sentence when there's no medical care available. Your body's ability to heal is compromised by poor nutrition, and your immune system is weakened by stress and inadequate food. This is when having stockpiled hygiene supplies becomes the difference between life and death. Soap, bleach, water purification tablets, basic first aid supplies. These aren't luxuries anymore, they're survival essentials. The people who prepared for sanitation and basic medical needs have a fighting chance. Those who focused only on food and water are succumbing to preventable diseases. Communities that formed earlier are starting to break apart under the pressure. Trust erodes as resources dwindle. People who were allies last week might be competitors this week.
The social bonds that held groups together are strained past their breaking point when there isn't enough to go around. Your escape plan becomes critically important now. Having maps instead of relying on GPS, knowing multiple routes out of your area, keeping essential supplies ready to grab and go, these preparations determine whether you can leave if staying becomes too dangerous. Moving at night is risky because of other desperate people, but staying put might be more dangerous if your area has become a target for organized groups. Disease is now the biggest killer. With no running water, no trash collection, and poor sanitation everywhere, illness spreads rapidly. Diarrhea from contaminated water, respiratory infections from poor living conditions, infected wounds from lack of proper medical care, these are claiming more lives than violence or starvation. The people who survive aren't necessarily the strongest or the best armed, they're the cleanest and most disease-resistant. Day 30 arrives, not with celebration, but with grim recognition. You've made it a month, but you're not the same person who went to bed on that Tuesday night 30 days ago. The world around you is unrecognizable. Streets are littered with trash and debris, houses show signs of break-ins, fire damage, or abandonment. The air smells of smoke and waste and unwashed bodies. The question isn't whether you're ready to return to normal life, because normal life is gone. The question is whether you have what it takes to continue surviving in this new reality. Your stockpiled supplies might be running low or completely exhausted. Your water sources might be contaminated or drying up. Your security situation might be deteriorating as more desperate people discover your location. But if you've made it this far, you've learned the brutal lessons that separate survivors from casualties. You've learned that preparation isn't just about having supplies, it's about having the right supplies, in the right quantities, with the right security measures to protect them. You've learned that physical preparation is only half the battle, mental preparation and adaptability are just as crucial. You've discovered that society's collapse happens faster than anyone expects. The comfortable illusion of civilization disappears within days when the infrastructure fails. People change when they're desperate, and even good people can become dangerous when their survival is threatened. Most importantly, you've learned that your preparation time is now. Every day you wait to build your stockpile, develop your skills, and create your survival plan is a day closer to potentially facing this scenario unprepared. The time to prepare isn't when the lights go out. It's right now while the power is still on and the stores are still open. The brutal truth about a 30-day grid-down event is that most people won't survive it. Not because they lack the will to live, but because they lack the preparation, the mindset, and the hard-earned knowledge of what it actually takes to survive when modern life stops working. Your survival depends on three things: what you stockpile before the crisis, how well you can protect those supplies during the crisis, and how effectively you can adapt to the new reality after the crisis begins. Food, water, hygiene supplies, and basic medical equipment are the foundation. But your psychological preparation and your ability to remain invisible in a dangerous world might be what actually keeps you alive. The question you need to ask yourself is simple. If the power went out tonight and didn't come back for a month, would you be one of the survivors or one of the statistics? Your answer to that question should determine what you do next. Because when the grid goes down, every decision you made beforehand becomes the difference between life and death. And in a 30-day blackout, there are no second chances to get it right. If this breakdown of grid-down reality has opened your eyes to gaps in your own preparedness, hit that like button and subscribe to the Smart Pantry for more honest, hard-hitting content about survival scenarios that could happen to anyone. Because being prepared isn't paranoid, it's practical.